Yo, 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 what is up, Stains?
What up?
Week 6 of the NFL, man, this was the fakest week of the season.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll get into that.
We will get into it. I had a buddy, I had Caleb Bushbaum text me last night, and he said, I'm finally starting today, I'm starting to see what you're talking about. And I've had a couple of people come around too. Yesterday was the fakest week in the NFL. We can get into it. Breaking news today, about an hour or two ago, they say Aaron Rodgers ready to go for Week 12. I called that one. His Achilles is not torn. You can't play 12 weeks after a torn Achilles. You can't, even with the type of route he's going. That whole thing was fake. And I said the Jets are going to be in the playoff conversation. They're going to find a way, even though they look terrible for a couple weeks in there. What happens? They get a win, and now they're 3-3, and now Aaron Rodgers is going to be back Week 12. So I was all over that one. Let's go back to the Thursday night game. The Chiefs beat the Broncos 19-8. Dude, they're wasting no time with giving us dog shit primetime games. The Chiefs, the last couple of Thursday night games have been horrible. We had the Bears. Now we have the Broncos. Sunday night last night had the Giants again. They got to fix something out. They got to figure something out quick. What did you think about the Thursday night game? And I didn't watch much of it, but the Chiefs are 5-1. Are they the best team in the AFC?
Oh, the best team in the AFC?
What do you
No.
think?
No, I don't think they're the best team in the AFC. They're not far from it, and they very well could be, but not right now. Yeah, this is very similar to last night's game where you look at it and you're like, oh, this should be like fucking 49-3. And then whether it's the NFL or the Chiefs or Bills just don't get up for the game or what, but I mean, not a blowout. And Mahomes played as he usually does, and Russell Wilson plays as he usually does. So, I mean, nothing too surprising there, I didn't think.
What do you think about Taylor Swift at the game?
I I there's a lot of people on the extreme sides. I'm not on either side. I don't really give a shit if the NFL wants to, blow it out of proportion, let him blow it out of proportion. I think it's funny these old white males probably get so pissed off about her being on the screen, but honestly, I just laugh at it now when I see her on the screen. You know it's coming. It's like they're gonna show her about 20 times a game. So I don't know why people are getting mad about it. What do you think?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's a little much. It's a little much. Are you a Swiftie?
I don't mind Taylor Swift. I would never. I don't think I'd call myself a Swift. Are you a Swiftie if you just like a couple of her songs?
I don't know. I'm not the guy to ask. I would also like to know that too. Probably not.
I would
I
I
think
would assume I'm not a Swiftie, and I don't think the Swiftie group would accept me as being a Swiftie. And I'm going to say the same thing about you, probably.
no, probably not. Um, I think to be a Swiftie, you have to you have to get an overpriced ticket and then blow it up on social media. You'd be a
Yeah,
Swiftie.
yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, like started to listen to her music. This last album, like, there's some good stuff on it, and then now it's like, dude, when I'm finally starting to like her, like, I'm starting to like listen to her music and stuff. Then the NFL does this, and I just like, it's like, what the fuck? So now
I
it's just
will.
like,
I will say she does have a lot of bangers. She's like the female version of Drake, but that's a whole nother discussion. We'll get into Drake another day. But credit to our buddy Beck. One day we were out in Kansas City one weekend, and we just had this. I forget what name it was, but it had this Taylor Swift song on repeat all weekend, just pregame, postgame, going out, playing it at the jukebox. But yeah, I mean Taylor Swift. That just shows you right there. This game we have nothing to talk about besides Taylor Swift. This game was just dog shit, just like the rest of the Thursday night primetime games.
I don't mind some T Swift talk. I mean, she's like honestly one of the biggest headlines. I mean, we gotta bring it up. We gotta address
No,
it.
she might be the biggest headline right now.
Probably, I would say so. Yeah. It's funny though, she's at like all the primetime games when like everyone's watching, but she didn't go to the game in Minnesota at noon 2 weeks ago. She could make that one. But she can go to
Yeah,
New York City on prime time. She go to Kansas City on prime time. Those games, I mean, she'll be at those ones.
of course she will. She's She's gonna when do you think they break up, or do they break up? I think they're gonna
Maybe it's
break up
like
before the end of the season.
that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's NFL. They can script anything. It's a fake relationship. I know that. Like Taylor Swift can date anybody she wants, and she's dating this fucking bozo from the Chiefs. Like this, it's just not right. Like she's always kind of dated celebrities and like had some weird relationships, but they always like made sense. Like she dated John Mayer when she was like young, and he was like in his 30s, and she's like always dated different dudes. She dated like that British. She did like what? She dated a British dude or something for a while. I don't even know. But Travis Kelce doesn't make any sense. It's just a fake.
Did you see her mom's comments on the some she went on some podcast and they were just asking her like, "Oh, Taylor Swift was at the game, sat with you." They're like, "How was it? How was sitting with Taylor during the game?" She's like, "It was okay." And that was it. I'm like, "What?"
I
Should
don't
they
make
know
it.
that's yeah, she probably hates all everything that's she probably wants it to be about her son and not about Taylor Swift, I'm guessing. She's getting a lot of the headlines. She's getting a little annoyed probably, but I thought that was funny.
She just wants to watch. She's like just the mom of. She happens to be the mom of two sons who play in the NFL. She can't help that her one son is trying to be an attention. I'll just say he's trying to be an attention whore and all over TV. And now, I mean, like she doesn't want to get dragged into all this. She probably just want to go to the game. You know, I don't want to be hanging out with Patrick Mahomes' wife and Taylor Swift. Like she's just all caught up in the middle of it.
Brittany Mahomes or Taylor Swift?
I was talking about Travis Kelsey's mom, but
No,
they're
no,
all
no,
in
no.
the.
No, 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 no. I wanna know if you had Brittany Mahomes in one room
Oh,
and Taylor Swift in the other.
I mean, dude, is that even a question? Taylor Swift, dude.
Alright. I'm just checking. I was just curious. I thought maybe you'd swing the other way. I don't know.
Patrick Mahomes' wife? She's annoying.
Well, yeah, she is she is annoying. Quite annoying,
That's what
actually.
you pick, right? That's what you would pick. What it sounds like.
Yeah. No, no, no. I'm no comment, but I was just wondering
Oh,
what your take was.
no, if I had to choose between Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes' wife, I would choose Taylor Swift.
Alright. Fair
I
enough.
think that's
Fair enough.
fair enough. I feel like that's a alright. I don't know what you're trying to get on here. Let's go to the Sunday game. That's enough Taylor Swift talk. I never really liked her country music. I never really listened to and then, like, she had some she had some, like, she started doing some pop stuff. I'm like, "This is okay." But I don't know. Karma's a good song. Anti-Hero is
That
a good song. The
Karma's
last
the
album
song in Kansas City that we were bumping the whole time.
yes, that's a good song. I listen on the way to school sometimes. And it just, like, literally, like, I, like, just starting to listen to her, like, very recently before this, like, this summer, like, at the beginning of this fall, I, like, kinda just, like, gotten into a little, like I wasn't gonna admit it to anybody, but I was, like, listening to her shit a lot. And then she started dating Travis Kelce, like, a couple weeks in the season. I'm like, "Dude, I literally just, like, got on the Taylor Swift hype train." Like, the summer kinda died down. I'm like, "I'm gonna check into this." And I'm like, "This is okay.
Now you're
This
off?
is"
Now you're off the train that they're dating?
No, I'm not off of it. It just sucks.
Okay.
'Cause I'm bumping a lot of her shit right now, but I can't she's annoying me with this Travis Kelce thing. Anybody it could've been any NFL dude, and she picked him, like, the biggest hot dog in the league. I hate Travis Kelce.
Wow. I'm on the opposite side. I actually like Travis Kelce. That's no surprise to me that you called him a hot dog, though. That's again, that's fair.
In the world of Travis Kelce's and Aaron Rodgers, I'm an Aaron Rodgers, 100%.
All right. I
I like
can
that they were
get on
betting on
board.
each other.
Yep.
Moving on to the Sunday games. The Colts took an L to the Jags this week. Gardner Minshew looked like crap. Um, and yeah, I was hyping my team up the last couple of weeks, and then now our quarterback's out for we have no idea how long. They said a month. It could be end of the season. Well, we got our first taste of Gardner Minshew. If he is the quarterback the rest of the season, we're in trouble. In big trouble. He looked terrible. He actually threw one pass where like the ball went like end over end, like it was a kickoff, and the guy picked it off. And so Gardner Minshew is, if that's who is going to be the rest of the season, we're going to be in for a long season. I was hyping him up. I was hyping us up. We were 3-2, and it came crashing down quick. This was This was a beatdown. We've lost 9 straight games to the Jaguars on the road to them. I have Gardner Minshew's stat. I mean, he threw for 300 yards, but he threw it 55 times. I don't understand what we were trying to do. I know they're trying to ease Jonathan Taylor back in, but he had 8 carries. Like, what? Then we ran it 17 total times, and I'm getting fired up again, like it was an actual game. It's the NFL's fake. But the Jaguars had a convincing win. We only ran the ball 15 times. After last week, we ran it for almost 200 yards. So just the NFL doesn't it's just fake. So we lost this week. I don't know. We play the Browns next week. I mean, they just won, so we'll probably lose to them too. I think the season's over for the Colts. And the Jaguars look really good.
So there's 3 games last week where my dad and I do a pick 'em. There's no spread. You just pick the winner. This was one of them. The whole week I was like Colts, Colts, Colts. I'm like Jaguars are coming off 2 wins, coming back from London. It's a huge letdown spot. And then at the last second, I saw that same stat. The Colts have now lost 9 straight in Jacksonville. I'm like, all right, switch it to the Jags. Thank God we did. So are you back to square one, week 0 with the Colts in your mind?
Yeah, I think so. I talked about it on the first episode. I'll go into it a little bit again. I don't need to give you the full story, but the Colts are cursed. They have a quarterback curse. When Andrew Luck retired a week before the season started in 2019, out of nowhere after a playoff year, in the middle of a preseason game, the fans booed him off. The fans found out that he retired, and he's like standing on the sideline. He wasn't going to tell anybody till after the preseason game was over, but it leaked early. It leaked early in the first half. So he's like, "Oh fuck, this is like the worst case scenario for me." So the fans are booing him off the field. They know he's about to retire. So they're booing him off the field. It happened like a Thursday, Friday night. I was drunk. I was pissed when I found out the news. I was cussing him out. I was super pissed at him. So I played a part into it too. But when that happened, we were put on a quarterback curse. We booed off one of the greatest Colts players of all time. Just a class act. Like he was just one of the best. And we booed him off the field, and I cussed him out. And so I mean, then we had Jacoby Brissett. We stunk. Then we got Philip Rivers, and it's like, okay, we made the playoffs, and he's like, I'm done too. I'm retiring. It's like, oh, so we got to find a new guy. So then we get Carson Wentz, who is just probably the most overrated quarterback of all time. Um, and then we get Matt Ryan, who was just past his prime probably 3 years ago before. And then we just brought him in and thought it was going to work, and it didn't. And then we draft a young guy. We finally get a young guy, and he gets hurt every single game, doesn't finish the game, and he might not play another game the rest of the season. And who knows? He might just be done. He could just retire too. It was. I
So
mean, I don't
so
know. I
what?
don't know. I don't know because Gardner Minshew is bad. Gardner Minshew is not good. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, maybe the kid comes back in a month, but it sounds like he might be out for the year. It was a nasty shoulder injury. It looked gross. So I don't know what to say. I have no idea. I
Yeah.
just this is what it is like as a Colts fan. It doesn't nothing ever makes any sense. You're just in a constant daze of like what? We're never like the worst team, but and then sometimes we're good. I mean, sometimes you think you're gonna go to the Super Bowl and then the NFL rigs it and the Patriots are playing with underinflated footballs. It's tough being a Colts fan, man. It's tough.
So that division is looking more and more like the Jags division. Colts sit at 3-3 without AR. Tennessee's now 2-4. Houston rookie quarterback. We'll get to them later, but I mean that division is Jacksonville's now.
Yeah, I mean, so this is week 6. This is a third of the season. So I mean, it's people like to get their hot takes after week 1, week 2, week 3. No, I think you gotta take it in 6 game chunks. Used to be like 5 games, and now the extra game, I'd say it's 6 game chunks. So you gotta look at this league right now. The Jags are 3-3. They haven't looked great. There's a couple weeks where they didn't look super good, but there's weeks where they show flashes of being very good, and they're 3-3. So they're gonna be a playoff team. The
They're
Titans are
four
no
and
good.
two.
4-2, yeah, that's right. 4-2. The Colts are 3-3, but it's just like you don't really know what they are. It all depends on if Anthony Richardson plays. If he doesn't play, the season's toast. If he comes back, we got a shot because we look good with them. The Titans are bad. They have Ryan Tannehill as their quarterback. who was washed up 4 years ago. Derrick Henry is, I mean, it's a short life for running backs, dude. Derrick Henry is still dominant, but he's not Derrick Henry of 2019, 2020, 2021. So, I mean, then they try to bring in D Hop, and it's just not working with him. Eh, That he was supposed to really DeAndre Hopkins was supposed to like rejuvenate the offense, and it's just the same old, same old, same. So they're out of it. CJ Stroud is good, and the Texans are on to something there, but they have no talent right now. So they're a year or two away. So yeah, it's the Jaguars, I would say. I mean, if Anthony Richardson, but we already got swept. I mean, we already got swept to them. I think the division is Jacksonville's for sure right now.
I wonder what their
Absolutely.
odds are online. While we transition to the next game, I'll look those up.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think they'll be in the playoffs. I just talked a little bit about the Titans. They played a noon game against the Ravens. The Ravens got a gritty 24-16 win. Justin Tucker kicked six field goals. So I mean,
Yeah,
they're a dynamic team, dude. Like Justin Tucker won on this game, and he's probably the only kicker in the NFL who can do that. Like, I mean, if you're talking like kicker tiers, is there anybody on his tier right now? I feel like he's just on a different world, Justin Tucker.
yeah, yeah. Aubrey, Dallas's kicker. So I have Justin Tucker in one league and Dallas's kicker. They've both been going off. Well, Tucker went off this week, not so much the start, but in terms of career league, yeah, I guess there's no one. He's going to go down as the best kicker of all time, right?
I don't even know. I'm like, who even's like the second best kicker, third best kicker?
Uh,
I can't think off the top of my head. Like he's like owned that recently.
yeah, I think it's just him. That's how good he is. He just makes you forget about all the rest of the kickers, and he's just on another level.
Crazy. Six field goals. They went 24-16. Lamar had a passing touchdown. He looked good. Odell Beckham played pretty well.
Did
Let's
he?
see. Catches, 2 catches for 34 yards, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. He had a big game. I thought one of the last games he kind of played decent. Zay Flowers finally got his first career touchdown, though. I did see that.
Yep.
That was like a thing. He's played like 2 years now, and it's like when's this dude gonna get his? Or no, he's a rookie, right? But he hadn't got his first touchdown, and he gets targeted all the time. So he finally got in the end zone. Mark Andrews, I have him in fantasy. He needs to pick it up a little bit. Last year he was a dog. This year he's still in the upper echelon ranks of tight ends, but he's not like it was like Travis Kelsey, Mark Andrews, like 1 and 2 easily, and then everyone else. And it's really just been Kelsey. Mark Andrews has kind of fallen off a little bit. Other than that, yeah, like I said, the Titans are bad, and the Ravens 4-2. I think they're the best team in that division. I think I'm gonna declare them the best team. They're better than the Steelers. They're better than the Browns, and they're better than the Bengals. You don't think so?
No, I think the Bengals and them are hand in hand. I don't think the Ravens are really good. Don't get me wrong. I think the Bengals will just be that good too, if not better, by the end of the year. But can we talk about can we just take the tight end position out of fantasy football, please? You got about three guys, maybe two, that consistently put it up numbers. Outside of that, just dog shit. Just put an extra flex in there. If you want to play a tight end, play Travis Kelsey, go for it. I'm fucking tired of playing a tight end who gets me one catch for 7 yards or fucking three catches for five. We just need to get rid of the position in fantasy, not in NFL.
Well, it hasn't like tight ends like really popped off the last like 2 years. There was like I mean, the tight end U thing is still like recent, but I don't know. Like Kyle Pitts was supposed to be like the next dog, and it's like he doesn't really do much. Um, I got the Eagles dude. What's his name? Um,
Dallas
he
Goddard.
I always got it. Like he's off to a crappy start, and he's getting a little better, but yeah, I don't know. Like it's really just a hot dog in Kansas City, and Mark Andrews is good, but really it's just like those two dudes. Really,
That's what
I
I'm
do.
saying.
I'm in a league where the tight ends, they're like their points. They get more points because I forget what it is. I think, or it's just maybe it's just half PPR for wide receivers and tight ends. It's a point PPR in this one
Oh, I
league.
like that. I like
So
that.
that makes it a little bit better, and it makes the playing field a little bit. It makes the playing field. There's not a biggest discrepancy. So I do like that rule. I think you should have a tight end. I like that there's a tight end, but I'm a tight end guy. But so I would
Tight
disagree. I
end
don't think you should
guy.
get rid of it. But yeah, I played tight end in high school, dude. This
So
is
did I. They're not in high
what you're
school,
saying.
but in
You're
football
shitting
growing up.
in Pee Wee Pee
Well,
Wee.
no, I like the position. They just don't score fantasy points ever. And I'm never the one to have Travis Kelsey, so I'm just so tired of shit tight ends.
Who's your
They're
fantasy
good.
tight end? You probably got a bum. You have to have a
I,
serviceable tight end. You can't have a
I
bum.
do. Darren Waller. And he's just not, even Darren Waller is
Yeah,
not great.
I mean, yeah, but he's old.
There's there's one tight end in the league worth paying for it. His name's on Travis Kelsey, and I'm sure Funk's jizzing himself hearing me say that. But the rest of them, just pick one. Doesn't matter. They're week to week.
Yeah, well, Funk says draft a better tight end. I think I'm with him. I think you got to get a better tight end. Darren Waller was
There's
good for the Raiders, but
We'll see. Well, that I personally think the tight end needs to be out of fantasy, but
the
that's just me.
Commanders beat the Falcons, Sheets, and I called that one. I knew that was going to happen. The Commanders are decent. They're
Are they?
decent. Yes, you were writing them. You're like, I'm writing them off. I'm like, no, they're decent. They beat the Falcons
Yeah.
on the road.
All right. They also lost to the Eagles, got killed by the Bills, and their other two wins are Cardinals and Broncos, the two worst teams in the league.
I don't know what to tell you. They're 3-3. Upset
I
win on the
think
road against the Falcons.
that's a good win. That's a good win, no doubt. But they're third in that division. They're going to be third in that division. That's just how it's going to play out.
Maybe, probably. We'll
So
see.
to them, they're an exciting team to watch because that D line is nice. Um, I like Brian Robinson Jr. too. Sam Howell's been playing well, but when it's all said and done, it's going to be the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Commanders, Giants. And the Commanders are no wiggle room there. They're third. I should go see if I can bet them to be third.
You don't think they can pass the Eagles?
No. What?
I'm just
Pass the
asking.
Eagles? No. If anyone they pass, it'll be the Cowboys because of how shitty they looked last week. But they, I mean, I just don't. They're going to, no, the Commanders are going to be third. I would put a large
Okay.
friendly wager on it if you
I
want
think
to.
you're right. No, I think you're right. I'm just trying to see what you think. But I'm a Sam Howell guy. I like Sam Howell. So they're 3-3. They play the Giants next week. I mean, they get after 7 weeks in the season, they have the winning record. Ron Rivera is a great coach. That's what I'm trying to say. I like the Commanders.
Well, if you want to take them plus 2,200 to win the division, you can.
I'm not going to do that. No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I think you got to give them their props.
Yeah, 3-3. Good for them. We'll see. I'll be giving them the third place award week 17, 18. So
They're a wild card alert for me. They could be a wild card team.
maybe the Packers might be competing with them for that last wild card spot. We'll see.
The Falcons are bad. I think they're done. I gave what's his name, Desmond Ritter, some love last week, and I watched him play a little bit more this week. I was wrong. He's not very good, and that sucks because I like Desmond Ritter, the Bearcat at Cincinnati. Um, almost beat Alabama that year. I think it was Alabama, right? Yeah, Alabama in the playoff the one year, but he's not very good. They're 3-3. Let me see who they play next week. They play the Bucks on the road, and the Bucks are favored by 2.5. Okay, I'm not going to write them off. I think they might win next week. I'm not going to write them off, but they did not look good this week. Desmond Ritter looked really bad.
I'm
But they can
not
still
writing. I'm not writing them off for sure, just because that division is so shitty. They're plus 185 right now, second to win the division. The Saints are only plus 150, and that backfield's nasty. They got some talent. Not the biggest fan of Arthur Smith, but they'll be there at the end of the year.
Yeah, Arthur Smith doesn't seem like he's going to be a good coach. In
No,
10 years from now, I don't think Austin, what's his name?
Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith. I don't think Arthur Smith's going to be an NFL coach in 10 years.
He'll be
Probably
doing
not.
the laundry in 10 years.
He probably he's a defensive guy, right? Where did he even come from?
Oh man, I don't know, but
I mean,
I think this is his first time being a head coach, I believe,
no, it is. Sure.
and he's got all the talent in the world. Young talent, sure, but I'm not sold on Desmond Ritter. I don't know. You think he's the franchise QB for the Falcons?
No, I hyped him up 2 weeks ago. Our last episode, I was hyping him up, and then but I hadn't seen a lot of them. This week, I watched a decent amount of this game, um, because I had money on the Commanders, so I was watching a lot of it. And so I finally got to watch Desmond Ritter in depth, and this week he looked bad. He didn't look good. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's the guy. But they're 3-3, and like you said, the division's crappy, so you got to keep rolling with them. People wanted him to get benched. A couple weeks ago, they wanted him to get benched, and I said, no,
Who's their
don't
backup?
bench Mariota. I think.
Oh, yeah, no. You might as well
I
keep
mean,
playing Desmond.
I would think so. They might be about the same skill, but Desmond Ritter's younger. Mariota, I mean, dude, he did okay for the Titans. I mean, he went to the playoffs, beat the Chiefs one year. He threw a touchdown pass to himself, a bounce off a dude, like a dude like batted it back at him, and he caught it and ran in the end zone. Um, but I mean, he's old though. He's older in terms of quarterback. I don't want to call him old. Yeah, I don't even know if he's 30 yet, but he's
Yeah,
past.
he's 30. He's
He's
got to
around that
be
age.
30.
We'll see what happens with the Falcons. The Saints are going to win the division. The Vikings finally got a win, 29-13 over the Bears. Were you impressed with them?
No, no. What are we talking about, Sheets? Packers just annihilated the Bears. Am I impressed with them? I guess yeah, I mean, they needed that win. And not only did they need that win, but they didn't have Jefferson. Addison showed up and caught a touchdown, though, I believe. Yeah, he did. 10-yard pass from Kirk. But you win by 6 against the Bears. Who do they got? They got the 49ers next week, and then us after that. Shout out Bailey, got me tickets for that Packers Vikings game, week 8.
Nice.
But no, they're about to be 2-5, hopefully 2-6 after they play us. I just don't. I feel like you're just putting their fans in a weird position in between. Let's tank for Caleb Williams and let's try to make the playoffs. And this win is going to over the Bears. Is probably going to make them think let's try to make the playoffs. But I'm here to tell you, don't get too ahead of yourself. That you're not making the playoffs. You're going to be probably 2-5 for sure. Probably 2-6, and yeah, I mean you haven't even played the Lions yet. You got to play them twice, week 16 and 18. So if I were them, I would be trading Kirk, having Justin Jefferson sit out the rest of the year, get healthy, and draft Caleb Williams.
Really? Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna go the opposite way. I think the Vikings will make the playoffs.
What makes you say that, Cheats?
I think they're gonna rip off just a crazy amount of wins. I think they might win like 7 in a row, 8 in a row.
That'll put them 2 games behind the Packers, probably.
If they won 8 in a row, they'd be
No,
10
it
and 4.
wouldn't. But why? You think they're going to win next week at the 49ers? If you get Cousins in
Possibly.
prime time,
I mean, it's still a ways out. So let me look at this. I mean, that's how I get my idea of things is I got to see the line. I got to see what Vegas is concocting for next week.
it's -7. 49ers -7.
81% of the money is on the Niners. Yeah, no, I think the Vikings win next week at home. Absolutely. 100%. I think the Vikings will win next week. I think you're going to see some Kirk Cousins magic. I think Kirk Cousins is going to throw a game-winning touchdown.
Unbelievable. 49ers coming off a loss. They may not win by 7, but they will win. I bet you that money's on the Vikings because they play a bunch of close games. And I think 49ers win by 3 or 4.
You remember like back in the day when I think it was 2009 when it was a regular season game, but it was a big play. Brett Favre threw like a game-winning touchdown pass the dude in the back of the corner. You remember that game or not?
No.
Look it up
Enlighten me.
after the show. Look it up after the show. What the year Brett Favre from the NFC Championship game? Ask any Vikings fan who is listening right now. I don't know what I'm talking about. It was a regular season game back in '09. They're playing the Niners, and the Niners were pretty damn good. And it was a crazy play. Like his last play of the game, Brett Favre did like his Brett Favre shit, just like scrambling around, and then found I forget the dude's name. He barely played, and this dude like had a crazy catch in the back of the end zone, like tiptoed it. Greg Lewis, it sounds right. I think that's his name. Greg Lewis had like a crazy touchdown, and it was just like the year of Brett Favre. Like it was a big win. Like ask any Vikings fan, they'll remember it. I think you're going to see the same thing this next week. I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a game-winning touchdown pass to to one of the no-namers. Not, I mean, maybe not no-namers, but like
KJ
Jordan
Osborne.
KJ Osborne. There you go. KJ Osborne
Nope.
gonna have a game-winning touchdown pass next week. Knock off the Niners.
If you're right, that'll be the most impressive. If that happens in that exact fashion, that'll be the most impressive prediction I've seen or ever heard. But time will tell. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know if Christian McCaffrey or Debo are playing. I assume McCaffrey is. I assume Debo's probably not, but I don't even think you need them. Their defense, I mean, is just going to be all over Kirk. They're not going to be able to block worth a shit.
That's true. I just think I feel like the Vikings. What stands 2023 almost to 2024. I think the Vikings will be in a Super Bowl in this decade before the end of the 2020s.
Do you think the Vikings or the Bills make a Super Bowl first?
Vikings.
I'm sure our guests will have something to say about that later.
The Bears are 1-5. They lost to the Vikings. If they're gonna get any kind of thing going, we're gonna have to win that game. They couldn't get it done. They do have another shot at a win next week against the Raiders at home. They're not favored to win. The Raiders are favorites -3. I think they might win next week though. I think they could beat the Raiders.
It's another team. Do you want, if you're a Bears fan, do you want them to win?
No.
Right now, they have the number 1 and 2 pick in the draft next year with the Panthers.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Do you just draft? What if they just draft Caleb Williams and May, both quarterbacks, and then trade them for whatever you want?
You could go a lot of different routes. What they probably would do is probably trade. I mean,
They trade one of them.
you could trade one of them, or you could trade both. I mean, both of them. You're in a position of power there. If you're a Bears fan, you gotta hope they lose every week. Put up with another year of shit. You got Connor Bedard in the NHL now for the Blackhawks. Watch them. The Bulls might, maybe they could be in the playoffs. Illinois basketball. Find something else to do. Cheer for the Bears to lose every week.
Yeah, I agree. If you're a Bears fan, you gotta want them to lose. You want those 2 picks.
Yeah. Justin Fields isn't good, I don't think.
He is so weird, dude. He shows flashes of being really fucking good, and then he shows flashes of like Austin Arnaud back in the day for Iowa State could play better than him. But it's just so like I don't know what to think. I thought it was coaching, and then there's some decisions he makes. I'm like, well, that was kind of dumb. But like what, 2 games in a row, he had 7 touchdowns and like 650 yards total. Week 3 and 4, I believe. So it's like, well, how do you grade this guy? Is he your franchise quarterback or not?
Do you think he is?
I think the Bears will roll with him. If I was a Packers fan, I would probably want to move on after this year if he was on the Packers. But I think knowing the Chicago Bears and that franchise they have over there, they will probably keep him as franchise quarterback and continue to go 6-11 and 7-10 for the next decade.
What was your thoughts on your first glimpses of Tyson Bagent? He filled in for Justin Fields.
I didn't know his backstory. That guy played D2. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Side note, Matt made a comment. He said, Matt McAleer, a longtime listener, said, I'd rather have Fields than Love. That's an interesting debate. I think I think we've seen Fields for long enough to know what you're getting for the most part. He's played now a full season. I know had some injuries. Love, he's only 5 games in, kind of a similar like thing where he's shown flashes of being really good and shown flashes of being really stupid. So at this point right now, I'm going to take Love because we don't have that year of film on him.
I'd take Jordan Love. I wouldn't think much about it. I think Justin Fields is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he's at towards the bottom of the list.
If you're the Bears owner or GM, do you keep playing the rest of the year, or what do you go? What do you do?
You have to keep playing him. No, you have to play him. He's your franchise quarterback. That'd be really bad luck if you stop playing him. Also, your backup is Tyson Bagent, like I just said.
Yeah, but if they want that first 2 picks, maybe you play Badgett and let them lose.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, that would make sense. Tyson Bagent would lose every game he played. But if I'm the Bears GM, though, you can't do that. The Bears GM cannot do that. If I'm the Bears GM, I would keep playing Justin Fields. If I'm a Bears fan, I'm cheering for them to lose every week. Without a doubt. But if you're the
Fair.
GM, you got to keep playing Justin Fields. I would honestly probably think about drafting a different quarterback though. If I had the number 1 pick, I would draft Caleb Love or Caleb Williams.
Caleb
I
Love.
love Caleb Love too. Bring him in. Um, I got Caleb Williams and Jordan Love mixed up. No, I would take Jordan Love over Justin Fields though. I would probably draft Caleb Williams if they had the number 1 pick. I mean, I definitely would. I would draft Caleb Williams over him. I probably would take Jordan Love too over Justin
Yeah,
Fields.
agreed.
I mean,
So
I
Matt,
have the
long
quarterback
time
rank
listener, but he's wrong.
I
You
have my
what?
quarterback rankings. I told you I was working on my quarterback
Yeah,
rankings.
let's
Let's
hear him.
hear. Okay.
Whoa, wait. How many do you have?
I ranked all 32.
Okay, start from 32.
This was before last week's games though. So tomorrow morning I will update my rankings after I saw this whole week of games. So this was before we saw any of these games. Let
Okay.
me pull it up. Number 32. And I'll tell you okay, what I will do is I'll tell you if they're trending after this last game, if they're trending up or down or the same. Number 32 going into this last week was Mac Jones.
Yep.
And he's probably going to stay about there.
Yep.
Bryce Young, I had at 31. I think I might have been a little harsh. He doesn't have a lot of weapons, so I think he'll probably the way things shake out. I think he might bounce up. I had Josh Dobbs ahead of him. That was wrong. Josh Dobbs is worse. Josh Dobbs might go down to 32. I think Mac Jones is better than him. I had Ryan Tannehill at 29. He's probably going to stay about there. He's bad. I had the Coup Hunter, Zach Wilson at 28. He might move up a little bit. I had Daniel Jones, but he didn't end up playing. So this week it should have been Tyrod Taylor. Either way, they're about the same. Whether it's Tyrod Taylor or Danny Dimes, they're both about 27. I had Justin Fields 26. Right ahead of him, I had Jimmy G, Desmond Ritter at 24, and I had Jordan Love at 23.
I'll take that.
I had Jordan Love right behind Russell Wilson, who I think I might move down. I think Jordan Love might bounce Russell Wilson. But I had Sam Howell 21 ahead of Russell Wilson. Kirk Cousins 20. So it's 20 through 32. Those are the back end. In the teens, I had Dak Prescott 19, Burrow 18. I had Baker Mayfield 17, but that's because Joe Burrow just got off to a really poor start. So Baker Mayfield, they were 3-2, whatever. Like they lost last week, but they were 3-2, and they're kind of off to a hot start. Joe Burrow got off to a dog shit start, so I had him one spot ahead. But this week, obviously, they're going opposite ways. So yes, Joe Burrow will probably hop up in the top 10 towards the end of the year. But this is power rankings too, by the way, power rankings. So Baker Mayfield will probably drop. I had Kenny Pickett at 16. He's right there. I mean, I think some weeks he shows flashes of greatness. Some weeks he shows flashes of not that. Gardner Minshew I had at 15. Bad decision. He might take a big tumble. CJ Stroud 14. He's right in the mix of being like top 10. He's just too young. He doesn't have the street street cred yet. Deshaun Watson I had at 13. Um, Justin Herbert 12. Matt Stafford 11. Now you to the top 10. I had Geno Smith top 10. He'll probably bounce down this week. Pat Mahomes 9. I had Derek Carr ahead of Patrick Mahomes. I probably will
Oh
have
my
to move
god.
Mahomes ahead of. I'll probably have to move Mahomes ahead of Derek Carr this week. But then I had Tua 7, Josh Allen 6, Lamar Jackson, or excuse me, Trevor Lawrence 5, Lamar Jackson 4, Jared Goff 3, and again, this is a lot of changes. Like I said, this was a huge week of the NFL. Complete different kind of week. I had Brock Purdy at number 2 going into the week, and he played horrible. He played dog shit. So he's gonna take it. He's gonna take a tumble. Jalen Hurts number 1.
A couple comments. I feel bad for Daniel Dimes. I think he was 27 on your list. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Around there. If
27.
that man, I've watched that man get sacked so many times this year, and it's not because he's holding onto the ball or not being decisive. It's because they got a D line's crotch in his face within 1.5 seconds. I think
Yeah.
he has the capabilities of being a top 15 quarterback in a different situation. Maybe even top 10. I think he's actually good. I just think he needs more time and more weapons at wide receiver. And he's been missing Saquon. But that
Mhm.
being said, he is a goofy, like Eli Manning looking motherfucker that just has that like aura to him that he's just weird. But and then my other thing, how far does Purdy drop down?
I mean, they still got a good record, so that's a thing. They're what 5? That was their first loss of the season. So I mean, he played really bad, but it was the first loss he had taken. So he might not take a huge tumble. I would think he's probably still in the top 10. Um,
Yeah, I think you got to keep him in the top 10. And I think you got to move Mahomes up. I cannot believe your Mahomes ranking, but
Mahomes will pass Derek Carr this week. Yeah, he might. I think Mahomes will probably be number 8, and I would probably put. I'd probably put. I'd probably move Brock Purdy down from 2 to 9, or maybe 2 to 10. Just off the top of my head, I'll do my official rankings after the Monday night game. After I find that out,
all
because
right.
there's also that changes a lot because you have Justin Herbert, who I had at 12, right on the outside of the top 10. He could ball tonight. I'm like, dude, this guy might be top 5. Now you have Dak Prescott, who I had 2 weeks ago I had him in the top 10, and he crapped his pants 2 weeks ago.
He's
So
bad.
we'll see what we get from him tonight.
We'll
Danny
see.
Dimes, I do feel bad for him. I think Danny Dimes could be a top 10 quarterback at his best. But yeah, he has no O line. The best offensive lineman is Evan Neal, who trashed the fans a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago after the loss. Said, "Who are they? Dudes flipping. I ain't listening to dudes flipping burgers, flipping hot dogs." And then the one, I mean, New York media is awesome. Even if New York, New York media is still like the toughest market to be in. Even if the Giants suck, even if the Jets suck, even if the Yankees and Mets and the Knicks suck, which a lot of years they all kind of do. The New York media is still ruthless. So even if the Giants stink, like you can't mess up as a Giants guy. You're gonna get ripped. So Evan Neal got ripped big time. I think most of you probably saw that, right? That was sweet.
Yeah, the video, that was awesome. I was gonna bring that up. That was the best video I've seen in a long time. He just ripping, and he's 100% correct.
Oh
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with what he said, and you could like feel the the passion of his fandom in that and his career in that video. And that shit cracked me up. If you haven't watched it, I don't know who said it or what it was on, but just Google Evan Neal getting ripped by media, and it'll come up. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, like there's when you do when you're in a big city like that, there's talk shows every hour. There's a different dude in there, but I don't think that guy's like one of the huge, like the bigger dudes. I never heard of
No,
him at least, but he
I don't
he
think he
went
is.
viral for that. Moving on to some of these games here, the Bengals, they've crawled their way back into this thing. Um, that was a must win, I think, for them over the Seahawks. I don't know. I think the Geno Smith experiment. We'll see where that goes. They don't look nearly as good as they did last year. The Bengals are kind of crawling their way back in, 3-3 now. The Seahawks did have a bye week 2 weeks ago, so they still are 3-2. They're not 3-3 like a lot of the other teams are. They still have a winning record. So they could still be in the mix, but they didn't look very good. Geno Smith, I didn't think looked super good. Joe Burrow played okay. I think he's still hurt, but
No, I think this was the first week there wasn't like a injury report on him. I could be
I
wrong,
mean,
but I think that was the case.
I didn't watch hardly any of this game. I'm not gonna lie. I watched towards the end because it was like the first game to end. Like when all those games were ending at the same time, that one was like way ahead of him. So I saw a little bit at the end, but I didn't get to see much of the main game. So I don't know what were your takeaways from this one.
I love this game. I think both teams are going to be just fine. I think Seattle's fine. They're still getting healthy on the defensive side, and the Bengals are back. They're not going to go like fucking 14-3 or something, but they will make the playoffs. They will be. I'll say right now they'll be in the AFC Championship game once again. I don't know if they'll win or not, but they're back. Burrow's only going to get better throughout the year. I think Jamar Chase, he's starting to come on strong a lot. Joe Mixon's the most mediocre but good running back in the league. I think he's like got a name out there, and he's credible, sort of reliable, but he's not gonna break off for that 80-yard rush. I feel like he hasn't done that in a couple of years. I could be wrong, but what do you? I mean, have you ever had Joe Mixon in fantasy football?
Yes, I had him last year, and he was actually pretty good. This year I have him, and he not so good.
I'm not saying he's
He's
bad. He's just mediocre.
the whole offense hasn't clicked yet. I don't
Not
know
yet.
if it's just they haven't yet. They're 3-3. It could get there, but even this week they still only put up 17 points. Mixon only had 38 yards. Joe Burrow didn't have over 200 yards. I think the weather was bad in this game, though, wasn't it?
I want to say it was raining, yes, but
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was shitty weather. The thing about the Bengals is they're tough. Their next two games are tough. They do have a bye week next week, which is great for them. That's what they needed. This was the perfect bye week, week 7 for them. But then in 2 weeks to come back on the road against the Niners, and then 3 weeks from now, home game against the Bills. You gotta stay. You can't go 3-5. You gotta win one of those two. So the bye week will come at a perfect time for them. It's gonna be tough to
I
see them for 2 weeks.
I disagree with your statement. I think they can go 3-5 because there's a stretch in their schedule where they play. I'm just going to list off some of the teams they play, not in any order, but they're still on the schedule: Texans, Steelers, Colts, Vikings, Steelers, Browns. And I think Browns at home, by the way. It'd be ideal if they could split these next two games with the 49ers and Chiefs, but even if they don't, I still see them sneaking in the playoffs pretty easily. Are they a Super Bowl contender in your mind, or will they be at the end of the year?
It I can't I don't know. I can't answer. I don't know anything about this team yet. On paper, they should be really good, but they haven't been there. They're 500 after 6 weeks. I don't know. I haven't figured a damn thing out about this team yet. I don't know. I can't really tell you. I would lean right now. I'd lean towards no, but they had the guys could be there. They could if they could have a bye week this week, and then 2 weeks they could look like the best team in the league and beat the Niners. But I just right now I have no like inclination either way. They're 3-3, and I don't know what I'm getting out of this team yet. So they could be a top 5 team. They could miss the playoffs. It's wide open.
I think they'll make the playoffs, but that bye week could not come at a more perfect time. They got out of this first 6 weeks 3-3, get a bye week, play their two toughest opponents, and then have some easier games. I think they'll just be just fine, and I think it's a quarterback league, and Joey B is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Maybe not yet, right now, through 6 weeks, but he will be.
We'll see. I think they're looking at like an I think that right now they're looking at, like, best case scenario is 10 wins. You're 3-3, um, so that would finish them with 10-7. That means you go 7-4 down the stretch. I think that's their best case scenario. I don't think they're gonna go on a crazy run. So, that's what I'm saying, these next 2 weeks are important. You gotta win, I think they gotta win 1 of the 2. Right now, they're looking at, like, 10 wins, I think, best case scenario.
That's fine. 10 wins is fine. That gets you in the dance.
It is, but if you lose one of those games, I'm saying they split one of those games and they win 10 games, or maybe win both those games and win 10 games. If you lose both those games, you might win 8 games and miss the playoffs.
We'll see. We'll have to see how that plays out. But I want it on record. I think they will be in the AFC Championship.
The AFC Championship game, I'll mark that down. I wouldn't see that as of right now, but they could get back. The Browns, this was the shocker of the noon slate. This was the biggest game of the day. Browns beat the Niners 19-17 at home with PJ Walker. Now, this is where I said this was the fakest week of the NFL. The 49ers were the best team in the NFL by far. We still know that. They still are. Through 5 games, they were 5-0. They had kicked everybody's ass. They have talent at every position. But then this week, the NFL just for some reason wants us to believe that PJ Walker, who looked like one of the worst quarterbacks I think I've ever seen play, he went 18 for 34, 18 for 34, 190 yards passing, 2 picks, no touchdowns. It was bad, and I'm just supposed to believe that that was real. The Niners were 4.5, or excuse me, 9.5 point favorites, and 72% of the public was on that spread. 93% of the public was on the Niners. It just didn't look like a real game to me. That was my takeaway. The Niners are still really good. The Browns is a big win for them. The Browns were the beneficiaries of maybe the biggest script win of the season because now they're 3-2. They could easily win against the Colts next week. They could easily win against the Seahawks in 2 weeks. They could easily win against the Cardinals in 3 weeks. They could be 6-2, possibly, with a showdown against the Ravens looking ahead. This would be the second week in November, week 10. They could be 6-2 against the Ravens for a showdown in the AFC North. They both could be 6-2 at that time.
So let's talk about this because I don't think this. So you think they told Moody just to miss the kick?
There's, I think there's magnets in the footballs and magnets in the poles. They can shift a kick whichever direction they want. Absolutely, 100%.
That is
And
a
the kicker
I
knows.
I haven't heard that before. That's interesting. I don't think that's real, but that's a take for sure. Magnets in the goalposts and the football. I mean, it's probably doable, I assume, but I just don't think that. I don't think it's scripted. I want to be on record. I don't think that specific game. There maybe are instances where they're up, but that one, I think they just got the Browns mucked it up. It was raining there too, and the Purdy lost his 2 stars on offense, 2 of his 4, and it kind of rattled him. I think you saw that at the end of the game. He wasn't throwing the best ball, but I just think they just missed the kick, and that's what it came down to.
I'll give the Browns some credit. Jim Schwartz, their D coordinator, he used to coach the Lions. He needs
Yeah,
another head coach. That I love Jim Schwartz. I'm a big Jim Schwartz guy. When he coached for the Lions, after one game, him and Jim Harbaugh got like in a big like scuffle after the game. They were like yelling at each other, and like it was pretty funny. So
dude.
I like Schwartz. He got after the Niners. He kicked their ass. So credit them.
I don't know how to go find this stat, but I think Big Cat said this. I think Jim Schwartz is like whenever he has been on a coaching staff, either D coordinator or head coach, he's like 8-1 against Kyle Shanahan,
Oh, really?
which is even more badass because I think Kyle Shanahan is like one of the best offensive coaching minds in the league. But
Yeah,
that's a crazy
Shanahan's the
stat.
best coach in the NFL for sure. They're 3-2 though. They're in a good spot. I think they're going to win again. Let's see. They play the Colts in 2 weeks. They probably win again. So I'm impressed with the Browns. They get Deshaun Watson back, I would assume, either next week or in 2 games. So I mean, the Browns are in a good spot right now. I think. Moving on, the Texans had a big win over the Saints, 20-13. The Saints looked like crap. I was surprised by this one. I didn't see this one coming. What'd you think?
Your boy, Derek Carr, threw for 353 yards, but pick and a loss to the Texans and CJ Stroud. That's just this is one of those games I looked at. I didn't watch. I looked at the end score. I'm like, oh, all right, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess the Texans beat the Saints by 7, one score game. CJ Stroud, Derek Carr. Not a game I paid too much attention to, but the Texans are doing exactly. If you're a Texans fan, you got a rookie quarterback and you're 3-3. You're beating the Saints. I think you got to be pretty happy where you're at with this team. Where
Oh,
this team was last year, they're miles ahead of them.
yeah, dude, they're playing really good. And that was an upset win. I mean, people in the Saints were favored to win. They're the favorites in their division. The Saints are. So that was a big win for Houston. The Dolphins torched. They got down right away. Still came back though with ease and torched the Panthers 42-21. Panthers are 0-6. They might be the worst team in the league with the Bears and the Broncos. But the bright side is between those two, they have a quarterback they can, I think, still feel pretty confident about. So the Dolphins are 5-1. Their only loss is to the Bills, right? Last week. So they're still
Yep.
cooking.
No, not last week. Who'd they lose to?
Well, 2 weeks ago to the
Yeah,
Bills.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, they're cooking. They'll be there at the end of the year too, but I don't think they'll probably lose that first playoff game.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't see them making a deep run.
No.
Bill Belichick, I ripped him last week. I said they should fire him. He lost again. Lost to the Raiders and Brian Hoyer. So they were 1-5. I stand by what I said. This game yesterday only proves that they need to fire him right now. He's also, I'll just get out of the way right now. He's my ass hat of the week. After the game, he did his post game press conference and he started it just like fucking around with the mic. He was like picking it up and like moving it around and just like then he just like threw it and it was just like what is this guy doing? He just got embarrassed again to the Raiders. He got embarrassed 2 weeks ago. You got embarrassed pretty much every week of the season, dude. Like, what are you doing? He's like fucking around on a microphone. They need to fire him.
They're not going to. They're not. But
They're
yeah,
not going to.
he's
They're not going to, but they
he's
need.
it's not good. It's not good, New England. I think it's hilarious. I'm pissed I don't have like any Patriots fans. Actually, I think I may have one, but I'd love to just talk to them because that going from what they had to what they are now, it's got to be. They probably haven't even watched this kind of football before. Like maybe a couple times throughout the last 2 decades, but they're probably like, "What the fuck is this?" Like this is their first time like seeing shit football from their own team, and I think it's kind of funny. I don't know how you lose to the Raiders. Belichick's lost his fastball. I agree, but that's tough luck for the Patriots in New England.
It is. My buddy Tyson Dolan is a Patriots fan, and he's just like, "Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck." Like Bill Belichick's a GM, so he's drafting all these dudes, and they just all suck. They suck at every position. They have no talent in the quarterback room. They have no skill guys. Their best player is what Matthew Judon. He, he's like a top 25 guy in the league, maybe top 30. Like they
Well,
just suck at every position.
I feel bad for Tyson Chicken because that's just a shit team to root for right now.
It is. The Lions got a big win, 20-6 over the Bucks. Baker Mayfield looked like crap. The Bucks aren't very good. Their defense is good, but they're going to fizzle out, I think, down the stretch. Todd Bowles is a bad coach. Todd Smoking Bowles, not a good coach. The Lions are 5-1, dude. They are legit. The Lions are legit at 5-1. They have a big game against the Ravens next week, though. That's going to be their toughest test of the season, other than the Chiefs game week 1. They've kind of had a little bit of lull in the schedule. Now it gets tough again here against the Ravens on the road. I still think they might win this one. I think they might be 6-1. And then they
I
go against the Raiders in 2 weeks. It'll probably be 7-1. Sheets.
They yeah, you see my Dan Campbell's $5 bill. I don't know if you saw him after the post game. He was being cringy but funny because it's Dan Campbell. They are going to win the division. it's probably like a perfect script in your sense for the NFL to have them be like 14-3 or 15-2, just something crazy. Like the Detroit Lions have all this hype behind them and after being shitty for so long. But they are legit. I think they're 3-0 on the road. The Bucks still, to me, haven't proven themselves. So this win doesn't really change my opinion. I think they're a good team before, but they're a shoe in to win our division. And they actually are a really good fucking team. Will they win the Super Bowl? No. But can they make a run in the playoffs? Yeah, because I think they play with heart, and I think Dan Campbell can get them to a good position. But yeah, they're legit. They are absolutely legit, and I'm not even mad that we lost to them the first time.
The Rams got a bounce back win. It was over the Cardinals, but they're back to 500. They could still be a team in the NFC down the stretch that's maybe in the playoff mix. We're gonna find out what kind of team this is, though. I think in this next chunk of games, yeah, the Steelers at home, Cowboys on the road, Packers on the road, bye week, week 10, Seahawks on at home after that. That's a 5-game stretch. They're 3-3 right now. If they can go about 500 in there, then they play the Cardinals, Browns. They're gonna have to go. Okay, so these next 5 games, the games that I mentioned: Steelers, Cowboys, Packers. Next 4 games: Steelers, Packers, Cowboys, Seahawks. They got to go. They might have to go maybe 3-1, 2-2, or 3-1. They go 1-3. They're gonna be toast.
I counted one win out of those five
Steelers.
or four. Yeah, I think the rest are losses for the Rams.
It could be. I still like Matt Stafford. I think he's a top tier quarterback in the NFL. But they're gonna have to do some damage here. I know there's the expectations aren't super high for them, but if they want to make a run, they got to kick it into another gear. They got to find a different gear these next couple weeks. The Jets. This is the big game of the week. The Jets beat the Eagles 20-14. Like I said at the top of the hour when we started the show, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be back week 12. They're 3-3. They scripted them a win over the Bills week 1 on Monday Night Football. They gave them another miracle script win this week. So the Jets will be in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers will be back week 12. So that's about in a month, a little bit over a month from now. The NFL is fake, and the Jets will be in the playoffs. Um, yeah.
I don't think this game was scripted. There were a couple fishy things I thought, but I think the Jets just have their defense is just that good. Their defense is fucking good. If Zach Wilson can just play average, all he's got to do is play average. They'll be in the playoffs until week 12. Even if he doesn't, Rodgers probably will propel him in there. They got the Giants next week. I think they probably win that. It's another 4-3, and then you go Chargers Raiders. Chargers a toss up, probably lost, but then Raiders is a winnable game. So you're looking at 5-4. If you can start 5-4, and then 3 weeks after that, you've got Aaron Rodgers coming back. They're in a pretty good position. But both these teams will Jets will have more of a storyline throughout the season. The Eagles are going to be they're going to go like 14-3. They're fine. Interesting though, they do have the Dolphins next week at home, and that spread's only -1.5. I would have thought the Eagles would have been -3, 4, maybe even 5 against the Dolphins. But look ahead spot. What do you think of that game? The Dolphins and Eagles in Philly. Philly -1.5.
Philly, I'd probably go Philly.
That's a fishy line. I don't like that line at 1.5.
It is.
I know
I
the
mean,
Dolphins are really good, but
I would go Philly. I think they're the better team. I think the Dolphins are a little overhyped. I don't think they're that legit. So I'd probably lean them. And
if Miami goes into Philly and wins, I'll be a big believer in Miami.
I probably would. I would be too. Yeah, that would be their best win of the season. I think if they did that in Philly. Then moving on to the Sunday night game, we already talked about it. We just this weekend they decided tonight's game will be good. Monday Night Football will be good.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Do we have our guest for the Sunday night game?
We do. Let's bring him in. I was
Let's bring
alluding
our
to it.
special. Oh, I thought you forgot about him. I wouldn't have been surprised. He's kind of forgettable.
No, Sheets. I was alluding to it. Cut me off.
I thought you were skipping to him. Sorry. My bad.
Anyway,
Hey, how we doing? How we doing, folks?
Back.
Are
Tell us.
Where'd he go?
Tell us. I don't know. Oh, now he's off now. Well, we'll work. There he is. Now he's back on there.
How we doing?
Go ahead, Meisner.
Beck, how are you feeling about last night's thrilling 14-9 epic win over the New York Football Giants?
2 words for you, Meisner.
Yep.
Ugly win. Hey, but at the end of the day, a win's a win. You know, they're not going to be all pretty. I get
That
that.
one wasn't pretty, that's for sure.
Hey, a win's a win, Sheets. At the end of the year, people aren't going to remember that ugly win. A win's a win.
No, but you know what? You Bills fans might be looking back at that game when you lose in the AFC Championship, be like, damn, that's the same way we played against the Giants. It's 2 weeks in a row now. They've showed a little slowdown. Where it's like, what the fuck is going on with the Bills? They should blow this team out.
You look at every team, Dan, or whatever your name is on here, Russell. You look at every team, and they're going to have a hiccup. They're going to have a hiccup throughout the year, and we'll take it early. That's all right. We're still winning games. Our best player is not playing his best football, and that also, I want to point out Ken Dorsey. That's involved in the slow starts by the Bills, but regardless, we're winning football games when our best player is not playing 100%. Go ahead.
You don't want those 2 hiccups in a row now. You keep hiccuping, you're going to throw up eventually, and that might be in the AFC Championship. 1 hiccup's fine, but if you have 4 or 5 hiccups throughout the evening, and you feel like you got to puke, that's the Bills in the AFC.
Why do you think we should be playing our best football? Let me ask you this. Why do you think we should be playing our best football right now? It's week 5, week 6. We want to play our best football at the end of the year, and we want to look back at this film, I'm included. We want to look back at this film and understand the flaws that happened in the game and learn from them. So,
Meisner, where's your ceiling for the Bills?
The Bills are good.
Look against Miami. Excuse me. Go ahead, Meisner.
No, the Bills are good. They stomped the Miami Dolphins, who people rant and rave about. So I'm not worried about the Bills at all. The NFL kept that game close last night. The Giants hadn't covered a spread all year long, so they had them cover the spread last night. The Bills were just told, hey, you're going to be a good team, but tonight we got to stink it up a little bit, and we'll get you the win. It might come down to the last play, but you'll get the win. And
I was sweating, Meisner.
I don't blame you.
I was going through a mini anxiety attack at, I don't know, 10:38 at night. It was rough. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a very non-stressful game to watch, but unfortunately had to watch my boys throughout the whole game.
It was
a
classic
bowl of ice cream.
What?
Did you have a bowl of ice cream watching the Bills?
I had 8 bowls of weed, and I had 5 in the first half.
Yeah. Usually that leads to bowls of ice cream in the second half, though, for me at least.
See, my mind thinks the more bowls I smoke, the better we'll get, and that sometimes is true, sometimes is not. Last night it worked, and hey, I'll go with my gut.
You will beat the crap out of the Patriots next week, and then you got the Bucks in 2 weeks after that. You'll beat the pants off of them. You're gonna be 6-2, and 3 weeks from now, we'll be playing the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. So, I mean, the Bills won. They're gonna win the next 2 weeks. They'll be 6-2. You can't be pissed off.
Nah, I think we need to take into effect the injury report already. I mean, we got Matt Milano out, Dorian Williams, poor man's Tremaine Edmonds, I like to call him, 42 in the middle, holding it down, dreads. He's a stud. I know you don't watch into too much detail over there, Russell. The next time you watch the Bills, I'd like you to take a glance at Dorian Williams, rookie from Tulane. He's a rookie. We got guys who are very young. I understand there's going to be hiccups throughout the year, but at the end of the year, we want to be playing our best football. I ain't sweating the fucking Bengals. Bengals are fucking trash. They'll always be trash, and I'm not stressed about that game. We'll get it together. Ken Dorsey, I'd like to add here, Ken Dorsey's a little pass heavy. Start of the game, we're getting off slow. We need to stick to the ground, open the passing up by getting the ground going.
Beck, if you don't mind, I'd like to hear your thoughts on our teams now, where the Colts sit and what's going on in Indianapolis, and then you can talk about the Packers as well. I'll give you a free reign.
Well, to be honest, I thought there was only one team in the NFL, and that was the Buffalo Bills. I don't pay attention to the Packers, Brandon. To be honest, they're a waste of my time. Jordan Love, he's garbage. I mean, he did have a couple early throws that I was very impressed about, but just wasting my time. I mean, the NFC, I think they're all garbage. I think they're all a waste of my time. I like one team in the NFC, that's the 49ers. That's the only team I'll watch. But outside of that, maybe the Bears. Just because my roommate's a Bears fan. But going back to the Packers, they'll always be scumbags. Fucking hate all of them. They think they're living in whatever year they won the Super Bowl, 07. I don't even know. But without Rodgers, I mean, they're nothing. They're a waste of my time. There's no absolute reason why I would sit down and watch a Packers game. Outside of if I was at Lambeau, that's the only time, and they'd have to be playing the Bills. Now over to the Colts. Tell you what, Meisner, what happened to Anthony Richardson? I have to ask a question. Is he out the rest of the year?
They haven't said. They said it could be a month. There's rumors he could be done for the year. His shoulder got all fucked up.
And who's the backup? Gardner Minshew?
Gardner Minshew, who he did beat the Ravens, but he stepped out of the back of the end zone a couple weeks ago. And then this week he looked terrible, and we got our shit rocked to the Jags. So,
I got no disrespect towards the Colts. They got two former Bills. Zach Moss, he's a stud. He's got to stay healthy. And then you got Isaiah McKenzie. He's a little gadget guy. I like the Colts. I think they're young. Correct me if I'm wrong, Meisner. Are they a young team?
Yes, young team.
And they got a lot of potential with their coach, right? Who's their coach?
First year head coach.
Yeah, you're going to say more about their team.
I don't know. I don't know if you're getting at something. Yeah, no, we got a young team. Michael Pittman. I mean, young receiver. Quentin Nelson's been around for a while, but he's still a young guy. Like on the O line. There's pieces around.
They need to have a good draft. How do you like the owners? GM, you like the front office people? Are they make smart decisions, Meisner?
Jim Irsay is our owner. If you know anything about Jim Irsay, about 10 years, he's been the owner of the Colts for years. He was the owner when we won the Super Bowl. Yeah, he went through a rough patch probably about a decade ago with the pills and the alcohol. But he's always been he's been an interesting guy. I mean,
who's a pills guy?
He's a guy I love that he's our owner. I gotta love him.
You love a pills guy, Meisner.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to add here before I forget. Excuse me. You're looking at the week 6 winner of fantasy football, first win of the year against Mr. Peyton Meisner. I believe it's week 6.
That's right. Right. You two faced off.
First time, well, besides the fact that Meisner told me to add my players to my squad.
Yeah.
That was the first time I had looked at it in quite some time. So I'd like to point that out. I don't think I'll make the playoffs, but hey, here we are with a dub, baby, with a dub, just like the Bills, just like Bills Mafia. We're going to kick the fucking shit out of the Patriots. I don't want to hear it out of no one. We're fine. We're going to have a couple hiccups. Every team fucking has hiccups. You look at the Chiefs, they beat the Jets by 3. off some fucking bullshit call. You look at what last week or 2 weeks ago, they beat the Vikings by 7. The Vikings are fucking garbage. Don't even get me started on the fucking Vikings. The Vikings are fucking grease balls, all of them. Fuck the Vikings. I fucking hate that franchise. Fuck that team. Fuck that quarterback. That fucking receiver's a fucking goddamn bitch. He fucking sucks. Excuse my language, but fuck the Vikings. Go ahead.
Well, I like your take on the NFC because I'm an AFC guy too. The NFC is just a watered down brand of football. And I agree with you. I watch the 49ers. The 49ers.
I like that.
I watch them every week. I respect them. I respect Kyle Shanahan. We have the NFC South, who the teams are crawling all over each other to get 7 wins and go to the playoffs. Last year, the Bucs won it with 7 wins and got stomped with the Cowboys. Now, I do like the Cowboys. I do like the Dallas Cowboys. So I like those 2 teams. I like the 49ers and like the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles are okay, but that's
Meisner,
it.
You think the Cowboys are for real?
Who?
You think the Cowboys are for real?
They could be, but they got to put it together. They haven't shown me that now. If I'm going off what I've seen so far, fuck no. They could be.
Could they show you tonight?
Yes. I think they will win tonight. I think they might stomp. They could stomp the Chargers.
Here's my hot take. I got a hot take for the podcast.
Bring it.
I think you got to get rid of Dak. Now, that may not be a hot take to some people. Some people may think that, yeah, you have to get rid of him. Some other people think that some people don't even think about it, actually. They think he's the guy we're going with. But that's my hot take. I don't think Dak's taking him anywhere. That's my hot take for the year.
Yeah, I mean
that's a surprising hot take.
Do you think Trey Lance could step in?
I mean, they traded him for a reason. I mean, I think that's due to injury because I think Dak's a fucking pussy, but I don't know. I'm not sure that guy's the guy either, Trey Lance.
I think you're gonna see flashes of
they got guys.
Dak Prescott tonight. I think you're gonna see Prescott throw a couple touchdowns and actually look decent tonight, and they're gonna win with a combination of that and pissed off Micah Parsons. I don't know why. I know this is silly, but I do not want to play Micah Parsons, let alone a pissed off Micah Parsons after last week. And that whole defense, I feel like the Cowboys -1.5 is an easy bet. And if it comes down to a close game, I don't trust McCarthy, but I sure as hell don't trust Staley.
Who? Oh, coach for
Brandon Staley, the coach of the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Cowboys will definitely perform well, and that's an easy bet. Cowboys, what 1.5? Take the Cowboys. Lock of the evening by Stephon Diggs is him.
I think we're all in agreement on the Cowboys tonight. The Chargers don't really impress me. Brandon Staley is bad coach. So after a rough couple of weeks, I think the boys will put it together, get a win tonight. That is another kind of a fishy line. I would have expected the Cowboys to be the favorites. Or are they the favorites by 1.5, or is it it's the Chargers, right?
No, I believe it's the Cowboys, but let me check.
Cowboys are favored.
Hey, go Rams, baby. Go Rams. Woo! Sorry, Klingle just
Why?
Me.
Oh, my God.
Dude, they're wasting my time, too. Like I said, NFC. Wasting my time. Niners, baby.
The Cowboys are favored.
Go Niners. Woo!
60% of the money is on the Chargers.
Klingle. You like that? Fucking Iowa State product, baby. Kick the fucking shit right out of you. Sorry.
Meisner, who's in a more must-win position tonight? Cowboys or Chargers?
Chargers. They're 2-2. They don't want to be 2-3 after a bye week. I think after a bye week, you want to show up and look good. The Cowboys, yes. they're under a lot of pressure right now because they crapped their pants last week, 42-10. But if they lose their 3-3 and they got a bye week after that, and I think they'll probably beat the Rams in 2 weeks. So this will be 4-3. The Cowboys are good. If they lost tonight, I wouldn't be worried. If the Chargers lose and go in 2-3, I think I'm like, I might be. I don't know if they're gonna bounce back from that. I think the Cowboys could withstand a loss tonight, be fine. The Chargers, I don't know. After a bye week, I would expect them to come out and look good. So if they lost tonight, I'd be concerned about them more. I think.
Guess who they
There's
play
probably
the next week?
more public pressure on the Cowboys, but on the
Well, they got
what was
to.
it?
If they lose tonight, they got to turn around and play the Chiefs next week.
The Chargers do.
Yes.
Yeah, there's more pressure on them, I think. But probably like from like the public's perspective, you probably say the Cowboys because they got blanked last week. So you don't want them to look
I'd
bad
agree.
this week. But I would say between those two teams, I think there's more pressure to win tonight, probably on Chargers.
Well, I was gonna have us do a 3-leg parlay that unfortunately we missed last week by 1 leg, but kind of sounds like we're all on the Cowboys. So I think if you're gonna take a lamb on the line pick tonight, I think it's probably Cowboys -1.5, Miser, unless you've got any other props or any other bets you like out there on this game.
Let's see what the money line is. If we're doing a parlay, I wouldn't want to get blown on a spread. I think the spread is the play. I think the Cowboys should win. Money line's -122. What the hell? Let's just go with the spread for some extra value. Let's go Cowboys 1.5. We're gonna lock that one in. Do you have any other? We can still do a 3-leg parlay. I have some props we could look at here.
Did we just lose Beck?
Yeah, he bounced off. He'll be back here in a second. I have some props I was looking at earlier. I
I got an interesting one for you.
Okay, lay it on me.
I don't know how much you've watched the Chargers this year, but every time I watch them, Keenan Allen has the ball in his hands like every fucking play.
Sorry,
So
smoke break.
you're good, Sheets. Have you watched the Chargers at all this year, Beck?
Nope, I have not.
Well,
Besides the first 2 games, they look pretty horrid.
I was just telling Meisner that Keenan Allen touches the ball all the time. So I have 2 alternates, an alternate 70+ yards and alternate 7+ receptions together for -125. Not the best odds, but I think he for sure gets 7 catches, maybe 8, 9, or 10, and then 70 yards. He might have that in the first half. So I kind of like the Keenan Allen show tonight. That's another bet I have on the books and going to be riding with.
So you're going to this over yards or receptions?
Both over 7+ receptions and 70 yards.
Okay. I was looking at one. I was thinking about this game. I think when I look at this game tonight, I think Dak Prescott will have a big run. I think he's going to run the ball for a big chunk of yards. Let me look at his rushing props. It can't be high. It can't be super high. He's like a mobile guy, but he's not known for rushing, so it's still usually pretty low. It's over. You're on FanDuel or DraftKings Sheets. Where'd you go? He left.
I'm on FanDuel. What did you ask?
Okay, I was asking for parlay purposes. I want to make sure I get the right one. I want to see what Dak Prescott's rushing over under would be.
I gotta piss real quick. Ask Beck.
Okay, I got it. I got it up.
He's got to go jack off real quick.
I'm taking Dak Prescott's over rushing yards, over 10.5. That's my leg of the parlay. Is what I'm gonna go. Dak Prescott will have a big run, over 10.5 rushing yards.
I think so too, but no, I think so, Meister. The reason I said but, I took James Cook last night, 15.5 receiving yards. I mean, obviously with that night, with that performance, you probably wouldn't get it, but dude, 15.5, that can't be that much as a running back.
No, I took his over receiving yards another time this year too, and he hit it. So I like that also. Let me see what they have him at right now.
I lost on the Josh Allen 260. He only passed for like 169.
You took the under?
I took the over. I missed it.
Over. He needs a bounce back.
And then I had Diggs last night for over 86, and he hit that. He was the only guy who showed up last night. Epinesa is having a big year, Meisner.
He's good. Michael Hyde's back.
I'm shouting at him out a lot this year. Epinesa. Big.
That's a good segue because my ass out of the week will transition really quickly to college football. Hawkeyes, huge win in Madison. They're going to be set up to play in the Big Ten Championship, have an opportunity to go to the college football playoff. That's great. The Hawkeyes are a good, decent football team. I'm getting there. They'll ball out until the Big Ten Championship game and then probably lose 42-3. Iowa State, on the other hand, I'm my future ass out of the week because I am now that fan that has their hopes up and is optimistic. We're 3-1 in the Big 12. We have Baylor next, who's dog shit, and we have a bye this week. Could move to 4-1 in the Big 12, and then we have KU at home, who I really like to play in Ames. Could be looking at 6-1 in the Big 12 for the Cyclones. I don't know, Sheets. Am I crazy for thinking they maybe spark something in the middle of this season and go to a bowl game?
Fucking goddamn bitch. He fucking sucks.
You asking me or who you asking?
You.
No, I don't think that Iowa State Cyclones will be in a bowl game.
You don't think they'll be in a bowl game? Let's make a bet.
We have 3 wins now.
We're 3-3. Here's my bet. Here's my proposition for you, Meisner. If the Hawkeyes win the Big Ten Championship, I'll give you $50. If Iowa State goes to the bowl game, you give me $5.
I will take that. Yeah, I will do that. I think that's a good bet. Yes, I will do that.
Deal.
I hope Iowa State gets to a bowl game. I don't mind Iowa State when they I mean, I grew up not minding Iowa State because it was the Paul Rhodes era and they'd win 6-7 games and it was like, dude, I hope they get a bowl game this year. And then you got a little just too big for your britches in too short amount of time without enough results. And so when Matt Campbell started to take over, I'm like, I don't like this guy. He's a hot dog.
That's fair. I get that point of view. Beck was an Iowa State fan growing up, and now he's a KU football fan and KU basketball fan. So he's a little bitch for just taking.
I'm an Iowa State football fan, and I'm a KU basketball fan. And I'm an Iowa State basketball fan. Hey, I would consider myself a KU fan because I've been to Fog Allen, so I can say I'm a basketball fan. I've been there once.
Meisner, let me ask you this. Can you be a Hawkeye basketball fan and a Badger basketball fan at the same time?
Could you?
Could you? Because that's what Beck's doing right here with KU and Iowa State.
No, I could not. I don't like Greg Gard. I don't like Wisconsin Badgers. Anything that stands for anything about them. I'm repulsed by them.
Nah. I do what I want. I do what I want. That's a KU basketball fan, baby. They're number 1. They're coming into the year number 1.
Preseason came out today. It came out today. They are preseason number 1.
Hunter Dickinson, baby. Best player in the nation. Who's Iowa State got on the lineup sheets? You're more of a fan. But I'm half and half. I'm 50-50.
We got our 4-star JT Rock. He looks like he's about 12 years old, but he's 7'1", 255. Look, seriously, go look up his roster picture. He looks like an 8th grader. And then Omaha Blue. Not first 5-star, but a top 10 recruit coming to Ames, Omaha. It's going to be a fun season.
I'm going to need to get some tickets. You got
you
4.
You two can chat about Iowa State basketball on your own time. Let's finish this parlay real quick here. The game's about to kick off. That's enough.
All right, we'll jerk each other up and talk about Iowa State basketball. We'll plug each other up.
What's your leg, Meisner?
I'm gonna go Dak Prescott over 10.5 rushing yards. I think he's gonna have a 20-yard rush tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna go over Keenan Allen receiving yards. Beck, are there any players that you like tonight that may have more yards or receptions or rushing yards than you
CD.
think, or a touchdown?
CD.
All right, we're taking the over. We're taking both the power wide receivers. So we got Dak Prescott over 10.5 rushing yards, Keenan Allen over 83.5 receiving, CeeDee Lamb over 72.5 receiving. That's plus 522 for your Lamb
And
on the
then
line
do we
parlay.
want to do the Cowboys spread in there too? Or money line?
Yes. Yep.
Let's just
You
do
might as
money
well
line.
throw money line
Yeah.
in there.
I'd hate to
Plus
lose it on a
700
1
something.
point.
Yep, good call. Cowboys money line. So that's our Lamb on the line parlay. Meisner, any
Let's go.
other comments?
No, it's a good night to cheer for the Cowboys. They're America's team, and I think they're gonna get a win tonight. Beck, buddy, thanks for coming back on.
Absolutely.
And maybe it was a little close.
Thank
Too
you.
close for comfort last night, but it was a win's a win, like you said on Sunday night. You can't beat that. So we're glad to have you recap last night's game. Sheets, you got anything to say?
Nope. Thanks,
Good.
Beck, for coming on. I hate the Cowboys, and this is the night I'm cheering for them because I've got them in a couple different pick'em leagues, and obviously on the books tonight with FanDuel. So it should be a fun game to watch. I'm hoping it's a high-scoring game. Knowing primetime games, it probably won't be. I'm hoping we get like a 38-35 Cowboys win.
It'll be a good game. It'll be a good game. Thanks again, Beck, for coming on. Thanks everybody joining today. Lamb on the line. Go Cowboys. This is it for us. Shout out Billy Knight for getting you those tickets.